Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of the Intercontinental Group of Awesome, a gaming group that plays on Sundays. And we are continuing our foray into Spire, The City Must Fall, an excellent game about revolutionary drow in a fantasy city. The best part of this whole setup is that I'm not the GM. Tyler is our loving GM, and I will hand over the reins to you, friend.
Thank you. Hi there, I'm Tyler, he, him pronouns, and yes, we're playing The Spire by Brad Howitt and Christopher Taylor. And Viva la Revolution! We are Drow trying to overthrow the High Elves who have taken control of our massive arcane sort of city. And we're all playing revolutionaries in cells, part of the ministry. And we have been dealing with a pretty nasty drug infestation and a serial killer and someone who very likely could destroy the entirety of the Spire. But one of those problems is no more, as last time our valiant heroes fought and killed the Swan, a nasty serial killer and a scene-chewing hack of an actor. It was marvelous. And now there's a bit of a moment as both sides are kind of regrouping. Our bad guys, having lost one of their major figures, are having to rethink things. Our heroes, having taken care of this problem, still know they have problems ahead of them. And how about we find out who those characters are? And they all got advances, so they may even be telling us cool new things about their characters. Why don't we start from the right side of our character keeper and go left? We are unfortunately missing Sabine and Vazar, but Vazar was injured last time, so we'll figure that he is convalescing. So we go to you, Jen. Introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hello, I'm Jen. I use she, her pronouns. I am playing Fonara Avri, who also uses she, her pronouns. Fonara is an Azurite, meaning that she's a professional business bastard, buying, selling, wheeling, dealing, doing all of those commercial things. She has gotten the medium advanced Golden Quill, as Golden Tongue, where you spend a silver to speak and understand the language, but now you can read and write it as well. And if I want to just permanently read and write and speak and understand that language, I can D6 stress against silver to make the change permanent. So I can rent it or I can buy it.
Fantastic. Did you decide to drop the other?
I did, and in its place, I took the Golden Gods Arcana, where I can mark D3 stress and silver to cast a rite and gain access to a domain that I do not have for the remainder of the current situation.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yes.
And current situation is pretty broad. That's a good length of time, I think, that you can work with that rather than just a scene. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Sure. And next up, we have you, Rich. Tell us about your character.
You bet. I am playing Aramis Fleck, the Lajan, or the priest of Limier, the goddess of the moon. And Aramis came out pretty well in the fight because he didn't fight the big bads. So yay. I mean, he did stab a person in the eye, but otherwise, the medium advance that I have taken for Aramis is Our Lady's Curse. You turn Limier's light into a weapon. When you cast Moonlight, as described above, you may mark D3 stress to mind to treat it as a weapon, doing D6 damage with the tags of Spread, D3, and Stunning until the end of the situation. So that's a pretty long-lasting weapon. Your jewelry bursts with a flash of bright silvery light that incapacitates enemies. Yeah, exactly. I love that pose. That is Aramis's new advance.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's a nice little step up for Aramis. That's cool. All right. Next up is you, Alex. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him, and I'm playing Gerald, who also uses he, him, who spent his durance as a spy. And as such, he's really good at sneaking around and lying and disguising. And he's got so good at lying that now he can tell little white lies are so powerful, they manifest in reality for a time. Nothing permanent, but until the next dawn, I can mark D3 stress to cast the spell, and it has to be believable. Like, oh, yeah, that was poisoned that I gave you, or some such. Yeah.
Oh, that's nifty. There's a lot of cool things for that. Just to kind of get an idea, it could also be like, oh, I had this dagger in my sleeve all along, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he tends to always have a dagger in his sleeve all along, so it's
so it's extremely believable.
Yeah, very.
Wonderful, cool. Thank you very much. And last but certainly not least, returning to our game, Jan, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
My name is Jan. I use he, him pronouns. I will be playing Zordin Kozlov, the knight, who during his turns was a duelist for resplendent First Light of Dawn. Who last thing I did was sweep the floor with his new with his new champion. So he's feeling good. I also got the advance, even though I wasn't there last time. But still, yay! The fight was something, I guess. I took one from the city guard. Mini advances. Because Tyler had graciously said that being a knight is pretty equal to being a city guard. Anyway, and I took everyone's guilty of something. You know they did it, and they know they did it. All you have to do now is apply leverage. Once per session, I can select an NPC, and then the GM tells me what crimes they've committed, and they have committed a crime in recent memory thanks to this ability. You have no solid proof, but a good hunch.
Nice, neat. Oh, that's a really cool one. Awesome. Well, as I said, we managed to dispatch the Swan last time, and we'd had everybody sort of split back up and go home after helping Bizarre go and kind of start convalescing. It is going to be a little while before Bizarre is feeling fit as a fiddle again, but everyone else had sort of drifted back to their homes, and the night passes. And the next day comes. Now, we have several things that I'm going to kind of bring to us here. But first, we know, Gerald, that you have something that is to occur today. The ice is said to be through thawing today. So how do you wish, let's start with you. How do you wish to deal with that?
I mean, my first instinct is to go alone, but I'm worried my decision making is impaired, and I need somebody who'll keep my head on right.
Right, and of course, Bizarre not able to accompany you.
And I think I feel like even if he was well, I feel this need to kind of keep this separate to not like taint what I have with Bizarre. So It might not be the most healthy instinct, but it's
And just to kind of refresh what we have here, we have a drow lady who had been held in Ever Ice, said to be told to you by the god of masks, was the one who first called to him, the one whose devotion helped him manifest here in Spire.
Mm.
And working for him, you have freed her from this Ever Ice. It is said to melt. She has been frozen for a very long time, and you don't really know much more about her. So who do you decide you may need to go speak to about this?
Where is Finara at this time, do you think? And what time of day is it? Do we...
Oh, I don't know where Finara is. Hopefully we'll be back with us shortly. But and is
Yeah.
There you are, Jen.
Hey there.
As I was saying, where do you think
Sorry?
Finara is?
Your mic changed,
Currently.
Jen. There's a different mic. It seems like Zoom is using a different mic because your audio is very, very, very different.
Okay, just a sec.
How's this?
Excellent.
All right, excellent. There, that way I can like wiggle when I don't have a cord, and it's nice. Where do I think Finara is? I think that Finara is back at her place.
Are we talking like maybe it's enough time that we've all had a bit of a rest, but it's not quite a whole day has passed since the party?
I would think it's sometime
Like it's the next morning. Yeah.
Yeah, like really early though, I think.
Really early. Oh, yeah.
I mean, not like, well, yeah. Normal
Not
people
like
would
the
be
sun hasn't
maybe-
risen early, but like,
yeah,
but
the
like
sun's
early.
about to rise. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, then Finara is definitely at her place, trying to get some sleep, and we're gonna just flip a coin. Friggin'. All right, we're gonna flip a coin. Yeah, okay. That hasn't been going well for her.
Mm.
And you'd like hear like a little tap up the window.
Of my bedroom?
Yeah, whatever floor that is.
Yeah. I rise up out of bed. I'm still like in a sleeping gown in bed. Wander over to the window and I tolerate it because it's you. What do you want?
I need someone to come with me.
What's going on?
I may be doing something stupid. I feel I have to do it. I don't need somebody. I need somebody who isn't clouded by whatever.
You hear a clatter in the hallway outside and a heavy rush to the door. As it slams open, you see a half-dressed Goliset with a large blade. Ah!
I don't
Oh,
bother
stand.
trying to. I don't move. I don't try and hide. I just.
Stand down. Also, I am impressed.
I'm sorry.
Me
I
too.
heard someone come in. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm quite well.
I will go dress. And he sort of hides himself.
Very
modestly.
Yeah, and I'll like go across the space of my bedroom and like extend out this privacy screen that I have in it and go behind it, and then you see the sleeping gown tossed over the side and hear shuffling of fabric as I get dressed. All right, so I'll be your conscience of consultation. Is there anything I should know about before we leave?
Bring the weapon.
That was a given.
We have to be quiet.
That was a given.
If it goes wrong, I'm sorry in advance.
Also a given, but worrying to hear from you at the stage. You expect it to go wrong.
I don't know. This
You're
is a bit
afraid
new
of it.
to me. Since we went to the library, I've had contact with the masked god.
Have I heard of this masked god?
Do you have religion?
Yes, actually.
Yes, you would have heard of the masked god in, yeah, to some extent, none of the like histories, but you would have heard a god that is said to be a protector of the drow, one who despises the high elves being here, one who hides himself and his followers, and is kind of a subversive god.
Mm-hmm. That seems like a good opportunity, to be honest.
I awakened someone for him, and they wake tonight. They were in Everise. I need to be there when they come out of it.
I'm like peeking out the side. In Everise. Just a whole person.
A whole person. A woman.
All right, I'll pack a little bit extra. You hear some more frantic shuffling of fabric. And a couple of clicks and snaps. And step out with a full outfit on, carrying a shoulder bag that seems to be stuffed with something.
Change your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
That's also why I asked you. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, she'll probably also need some place to live afterwards, but we'll see if we get that far.
Yes. We have to go up Spire.
Oh, good. All right.
I think we'll kind of shift away. That sounds like we've hit our point there. We'll come and find you again in a moment. As Aramis, when we last saw you, you were back at the chapel, and Yvette was trying to comfort you. You had sat down with her for some tea. She could tell you were upset. I want to ask, she's willing to sit and talk with you for as long as you feel like talking, or are you worn out and you don't want to talk? She is also receptive to that, but she's trying to, you can tell she's really concerned for you. So how does the evening go?
I think that the evening proceeded with Aramit's unburdening himself to Yvette with the events of the party, speaking at some depth about the horrors that he had witnessed about his own involvement in trying to find the serial killer, his trials with faith, with a confession about perhaps his own pride causing him to falter, and how he redoubled his dedication to Limier. And in the end, she helped to give him the strength needed to finally help defeat Lorelei and the demon that had infested her. I think he's unburdening himself of like the whole kit and caboodle. So it's probably a long, occasionally halting conversation that's intimate.
Obviously, well, I'm going to say obviously, maybe you are shading away from anything ministry related, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all like me and my friends are fixing some stuff. It's not, we were assigned this mission by the ministry. Yes, that's a really good clarifying question.
She seems, shocked that you put yourself in this much danger. I never knew that has this, where some people might get this kind of hero worship or this sort of admiration. You can tell she's full on worried about you putting yourself in danger like that. It's not she's mad, but that she's, I can't believe you would do that. You could have been hurt terribly. And it's kind of, I'm not going to, impose feelings on you, but it is clear that her concern is more what could have happened to you than that this dangerous person's taken off the street. And maybe that's sort of sweet.
It is. It certainly is. Yeah.
I didn't know that you did these sort of things.
I did not either. I felt led by my friends and also by Limier. Someone needed to do it, and Limier guided me.
If it is her will, then who am I to question it? But maybe these friends of yours are a bad influence, Aramis.
Perhaps they are. Perhaps they are.
I'm so glad that you're safe. And you're not going to be doing dangerous things like that again, are you?
I won't lie to you, Yvette. If Limier guides me again, then I will.
She reach out and touches your hand, and I would hate for something to happen to you. I feel that the more I'm with you, the happier I am.
Against Aramis's better judgment, I think he will take her hand and then lean in and kiss her.
She sort of, I think there's that little bit of like surprise, but she leans in and is clearly very happy. She felt like, you could tell she kind of felt like she had put herself out there and it has paid off in being reciprocated.
Nice.
And I think we then, we have a pleasant conversation of her, We won't stick on, how we won't go into the weeds of the conversation, but
Mhm.
I think we have this, clearly she wants to be wooed. She wants y'all to be a thing. And so I think that it's very pleasant. And as as you are almost certainly very, very tired, she will excuse herself to go back to work as you rest. And so I'm going to ask, though we won't get started on it, what is your plans for the beginning of the next day?
I think meeting up at the Kraken Bell with my compatriots is important. And also, we need to report in. Those are his two main thoughts right now.
Good thoughts. Good thoughts. All right. Then we're going to go over to you, Sword. You went back home and, a busy, exciting night. Did you go home and celebrate your victories?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And so there was
Heavily.
Very good. Well, then I think it's fair to say that if you drank and did all those sorts of things, you could feel free to do a D3 refresh.
All right. Awesome. D3, that's 26. Roll. E2.
Nice. And you can choose to take it off of whichever you want there.
Yeah, I'll take it off of my blood and armor. Oh, also, by the way, I still have the fallout of compromised looming over me.
That's right, you do. And we're going to have to deal with Aramitz's memory holds as well.
Sorry, Aramitz, I didn't mean to.
We will hit that here in a minute with the compromise, or with the memory holds here in a few moments. But Zord, I'm guessing. I'm sure you're going to brag about defeating the duelist.
Oh, hell yes.
You also going to mention the stuff about the swan being taken off the street, or are you sticking to the duelist?
I think the duelist, and I think, like, I think Sordin is sort of he's sort of still enamored by Morns, and like that the Morns comes up a lot in the story as well.
Interesting. Okay. And so you celebrate well into the night, and your comrades are interested in what you have to say, and they're drinking, you're drinking. Night turns into early morning before you finally wander off to find a bed.
Or fall asleep on the table.
I think Thorza is also celebrating and made, normally she, if you were drunk enough, would at least leverage you up to somewhere normal to sleep. But I think she's probably drank enough that she's curled up in a quiet corner by the time that you finally decide to pass out.
I've taught her well.
And so it may be that you're a little crusty-eyed, and I don't know how hangovers hit you, but it's way earlier than you would have chosen to stir when you feel someone giving you a rather rough kick in the side.
Oh yeah, then I'm definitely I'm like slouched over a table with a mug half full still in my hands.
You look and you see an enormous man beside you. He's wearing leather armor, and you see that he has a pretty good sized blade on him. And he's rather roughly giving you a shove to wake you up. but
Is it someone I know?
you recognize him, but it's really the person as he steps back that catches your attention. It's the Duke.
Quickly straighten up, rub my eyes, and like make a bow.
She is dressed in a very nice articulated armor. She has a long, slim blade at her side that you are aware is said to be enchanted to be faster than any blade ever. And she's smiling slightly, and she says, "Sir Sorden."
My Duke.
I hope I didn't wake you too early.
Probably not, my Duke. And there's like I don't know what time it is.
I was wanting to have a little conversation with you.
Of course, I am at your service.
Yes. If you will follow me. And she begins moving back towards the rear of the Kraken Bell.
I follow him.
Like every bar on the dock.
Looking in the corner where Thirza is lying and like, let her sleep.
Like every bar on the docks, she looks like she owns the place as she walks through it. And there isn't, there's no hesitation as she moves back to a private room at the back of the bell, opening it up and walking in. The large gentleman follows behind you, and as you enter, he closes the door behind the two of you. He does not come in. Sorden, I heard last night that you defeated the champion of one of the High Elves.
I did. Just like, even though he's hungover and he's still like, I did that.
That's very impressive. I can only guess that you did it in my name.
Well, I was it was a well. You see, it was a fake.
You were working for someone else, weren't you, Sorden?
Well, one of the paladins.
One of the paladins, Sorden. You were working for one of the paladins, Sir Sorden. Perhaps it's me. It may be my fault that I don't understand why one of my knights was acting as a champion for the paladins of the Solar Pantheon. Would you care to illuminate me, since illumination now seems to be something you've become rather familiar with?
Sorden has like shrank in size a bit from just well, well, you see, well, he was going to this event and he commanded me to help him.
He commanded one of my knights.
Well, I saw some. It was my knowledge of my former master was useful in the investigation of the paladins.
And you saw no reason to come to your lord and to ask if I would approve of you doing this.
So it's like just quiet and kind of like just a really like guilty, bashful look, and like.
I'm guessing, of course, your paladin friend would owe me a favor for using one of my knights.
I would say so. Yes. He definitely owes you a favor. Mm-hmm.
You discussed that with him?
Not as of yet, but I can tell him.
Sort. I was happy to have you join the Knights. I knew the position you were in. You were a wreck when you came to us. But I knew your potential.
Yes, ma'am.
Have I treated you unjustly?
No, ma'am.
Have I not shown you respect and given you promotion within the order?
You did, my duke.
Is this association with the Paladin something you're going to be doing more?
No, ma'am. There's definitely some hesitation before he says it's like that's probably what you want to hear, right? Yes.
Let's not be too hasty.
Oh, of course.
Your friend in the Paladins may be useful. And as you say, he certainly owes me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
I've not had one of my knights be a champion for the Paladins before. It amuses me.
Pleased to be of amusing. My duke.
If he contacts you again, you will inform me, correct?
Of course, yes.
Yes, this could be useful. Very useful. So very recently, you have been given one of our warships.
Yes.
It has been brought to my attention that there is a transport to be coming in by river very shortly. It is to be bringing in some rather unique items for higher up Spire. But they will be coming here to our docks. I would like for you to intercept and tax this merchant.
Of course. Me and the bell clipper are at your commands.
You may take any of your order that you see fit in my name. Amongst the things they're bringing is something of human make. A gun. I want that gun.
That will be the text then.
Indeed it will. Now, that is something I imagine they will not want to give up easily, but someone who is so impressive in duels, someone who's friends with the Paladins, shouldn't have any sort of problem procuring that for me. They call it a repeating gun. Find it for me, Sir Soren.
Very well. Yes, my duke.
She leans forward and looks at you very directly in the eyes. Your victories make me proud, Soren.
Thank you, my duke.
She turns and moves towards the door. And as she does, she kind of pops her sword against the side of her armor. And there's a pretty loud ring. And the door opens up before she gets to it by the large man who escorts her out.
And then as soon as she's out of the room, there's probably like a
All right. I think we're going to cut back to Fenara and Gerald here to kind of see what y'all are planning, how you're wanting to act in your day's events, and then we'll have Arabits arrive at the crack of bell and find Sword.
Do we find ourselves maybe within sight of refracts endlessly outward?
Certainly no problem getting there. You know the spot.
I think maybe in like the shadows of the neighboring structure.
It still has that sort of vacant feel to it, as it had before. But you know, at the same time, you know it. You know what it's used for. You know the type of place it is. But at the moment, it doesn't seem to have anyone in it.
It's in the cellar.
All right. What's our way in?
See there along the edge of the street, the small windows, they lead into cleaning rooms. We could slip in there.
All right.
Most of the servants should be in the kitchen or above cleaning, so it should be empty now.
All right.
Then we go into the cellar.
You enter in, you finding the same window you'd used before. You slip in, the two of you. The cellar looks as though no one has been there since you were last. And there is still that sort of white dust that is covering most everything, but otherwise it is mostly empty.
I'm trying to remember, because I remember there being the statues, but I can't remember if
you had the best god to release their souls,
and they
that's
kind of crumbled away,
turned to dust.
Oh my, no one ever comes in here, clearly.
And there's not been any new ones since. I think Gerald's like half expecting there to be at least like one more statue, like just. I mean, it's not something that happens every day, but still.
It may even strike you like that no one would even come down here to clean this up. Maybe something is keeping people from coming down here.
Out of character, I just wonder, has this stone statue drow storage closet become full, and so they've moved on to a different one. But
it could also be that, like, the masked god is putting a bit of an avoidance on the spot.
Mhm.
It's through this way.
As you move towards that direction, Fanara, you feel a cold radiating out. And you see a door that has bits of ice just around the edges of the seal.
And I packed gloves. This one, yes?
I think I draw one of my daggers. I'm not like holding it to attack, but it's kind of there on hand. I step in.
You open the door, there's that cracking of the ice, and rolling out is that sort of cold mist. There is that slight pinkish light that it had turned to when you had switched off the machine. And Fanara, you see for the first time a beautiful drow woman, completely naked, on a strange mechanism pedestal. Beside her is another mechanism. The room is cold, but it's kind of dripping with moisture.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
she around her is a puddle, and she is just very, very thinly rimed in ice. Just this complete but extraordinarily thin coating of ice all
And
around her.
I like lean in really close to appraise it and go, well, it's ever ice, so I don't know as I want to touch it yet.
I look around towards the shadows. We're here. Addressing the room rather than addressing Fanara.
Let me think just 2 seconds. I think you feel the mask within your pouch sort of give that subtle vibrate, that feeling that to make you know it's there.
I nod my head in acknowledgement.
Meanwhile, I've probably tucked down, looking around, probably the second pedestal platform that's next to the one that our drow woman is on, because I don't want to interfere with that one currently. But I'm poking around, being like, well, who made this? Probably. And how much might it be worth? If I stole bits, what would happen?
Why don't we have you do an investigate commerce on this?
Okay.
So 3 dice, unless you have something to add to it.
Nope. All right, I got a 6.
Take 1 point of shadow stress.
All right.
And it's still a success, which is good. As you're kind of poking around on it, you must have hit something as you see the lights start to blink on it. Your guess, though, is this is of high elven make. This is part of their techno magic. To the right person, this could be worth a ton. Bit bulky, but
Yeah, I don't have a good way to get it out of here.
Very expensive. And I think that with the success of this, it is meant to stabilize Ever Ice. Ever Ice doesn't exactly melt, but being Ever Ice, but it does have this kind of, it causes things inside of it to be in stasis. However, if you don't sort of set it, then it has a tendency to change its shape. So it might dump something out of it or things like that. You might get an
Is it kind of like glass, as in it is a liquid in a certain ways?
Mhm.
Right.
Over a long enough time, it would just flow away from.
And do bad things. Okay, that's super interesting.
Cheryl, looking at her.
I looked at Finara, the cloak.
Oh yes, of course, and I'll provide it. Is it thinning enough? I glance at the ice again.
I don't know.
It is.
I rest it over the shoulders of the.
As you reach out and put it over her shoulder, your finger just lightly touches it. And there is this kind of cracking as the last bits of this ice shatter and fall away from her. As you put the cloak on her, she's and her hands drop in a way that you immediately know she's going for daggers and realizing they're not on her. Then she's realizing she's nude. Then she looks at you. Who are you?
We are friends, and I move my hand very slowly into my clothing and pull out the shadow mask.
My lord, you have come for me.
I believe you've been here for a long time.
How is Spire?
We toil beneath the feet of the high elves.
And my work is still undone.
But there are those who work against them. And I gesture to Finara and myself.
She looks over at you, Finara, and gives a little nod.
I have the rest of an outfit for you when you're ready.
Thank you. She you can tell she's not modest, but it is the sort of thing of she might be a little cold.
It's not warm in here.
No. You are a follower of the masked one.
This one is. Maybe.
Yes. I don't know.
And you came to find me?
He led me here.
He did not forsake me. We should go. Where are we? What?
We're beneath the refracts endlessly outwards manor.
That name. I know that name.
Have you been awake this whole time?
No, but that name. I remember hearing it like in a dream.
Perhaps the details will return to you in time.
You have a means for us to escape.
Well, the window's already propped, so
We need but a few minutes to get out. Can you walk up fine?
She kind of takes a step, and you see her knees sort of buckle as I do not seem to be fully myself.
then we'll have to assist you. That's simply done.
Venara,
Gerald?
I will make sure the way is clear. If I'm spotted, there will be less questions.
All right.
She will look at you, Fenara. That clothing?
Mm-hmm. I hand it over.
And with your assistance, she will get dressed. And you see as it gets onto her, once she has, like sleeves, you see her sort of flick her hand. And as she does, out from the sleeve pops a dagger, which she twirls, and then it disappears back up the sleeve.
Good.
Yes.
Remarkable. Let's get these boots on.
You get her dressed, and Gerald, you proceed checking the way. As it seems clear, you motion, and as Fenara kind of leaning on you, she begins to leave. As she reaches the door, she looks back at the machine there. And with that quick flick of her arm, that dagger is back, and she sends it flying over towards the machine. And as it strikes, there is this sort of blackness that hits the machine, and it penetrates straight through the casing of it. And the machine sort of, you see a bit of spark.
Neat.
I am called Blakely. I owe you.
Very well.
Let's get you out of here.
Let's take a break here.
All right.
We're back.
Right. So, as I stated just a moment ago, that was a fallout for Zordon with compromise there. Someone wondering a little bit about the loyalties of Zordon. And so that fallout came into play, and proving loyalty will get rid of fallout. That's part of getting rid of. When we have fallouts, things we do get rid of them. But Aramis, you were making your way to the Kraken Bell. And arriving there, actually, before we arrive there, since we have folks here, we have a fallout on the table for you called memory holes.
Yeah.
I want to kind of hold the table here. What do we think would be interesting memory hole? Now, memory hole, and I'll give the little description here of it. You did things that you can't quite recall. The GM and every player aside from you worked together to determine what you did that you blocked out from your mind. And they say things like you shouldn't be here to hear it, and we do it all secretly, but I'm not doing that. A, I think it seems hard to roleplay. B, I'm not sure, I'm really not sure how we would do that very well. They are generally pretty awful, and they can have happened up to a year ago in game time or immediately upon suffering fallout. Worth mentioning, this is fallout from right about, is during the fight with Lorelei. Your character has zero memories of the event, but everyone else involved knows what happened. That does not mean that all of our characters, as in the people who are coming up with the memory hole, it means whoever was there when you did whatever it was you've forgotten knows. So, I hate always to throw out just an open table question, but we're going to do it regardless. Despite me not liking it, I'm going to do it. Anybody got an idea of what would be a cool memory hole for Aramits here in the last year?
I mean, the first thing that jumped to my mind even last week was, does he remember stabbing Lorelei in the eye with a dagger?
Hmm.
That's a cool one. The one that came to my mind was like he's had a few encounters now with demonic entities that have like kind of got in his mind. Has he done something momentarily possessed? Like some nasty thing? Like I know Gerald got sliced by, was it Sebastian, I think? But did he get sliced by Sebastian? Is that something Aramis did? I don't know. Or if there's when we fight Fort Kresh, Aramis was doing stuff with
The demon there.
there as well. That's where my mind went.
That's an interesting play. Jan, you have anything to throw into the pot? No? Then I'm going to throw one into the pot, and we'll all together kind of see where we want to go and if we can integrate some of them together. I feel like Aramits, I get the feeling, and you should tell me if this is so, that you ended your durance here in the last year or so, right? Or have you been out of durance for longer than that?
Good with last year. I kind of like him just having recently come out into the world. That's good.
Kind of to play with what Gerald's saying, or Alex is suggesting, is a thought that maybe there was a possession or something demonic influencing Aramits that the mother took away from. That's where he became this priest, this Lashawn, is because she directly helped him exercise something, and he doesn't remember that he did it, that he had this going on, and she helped him out of it, and that he had done something terrible while under that influence. She saw the person that was better underneath it, and she stepped in. Now, I don't want to invalidate what you said, Jen, because I think there's a really interesting suggestion in there. I think that was really a cool idea of having that immediacy. So that's me throwing out, and it's pretty vague. We would want to kind of play with all of these at this point to make them more specific. But what are our thoughts going around from there? Jen, any thoughts on that?
I think that it's interesting for Aramits's character. I'm not sure what sort of consequences that might have in play, but it's fascinating to us. And, if we figure out how to use it, cool. If we don't, it was still interesting to think about.
I mean, if we go to your suggestion, Jen, of him not realizing he stabbed that thing, that stabbed Lorelei in the eye, is that an example of some sort of kind of post-traumatic
Right.
flashback reaction to that darker time, or darker period.
Sure, that seems. Ooh, yeah, that seems possible, and then a little bit tasty, a little bit spicy.
I don't want to do something so nasty to you, Rich, that it like I don't want to make you feel bad in your character. But
Sure, I appreciate that.
how about going with what Jin's saying with the stabbing? Aramitz has this concept that he freed her soul.
Mm-hmm.
How about if that was a deception of the demon?
Oh, that sucks. Okay. That's fascinating. So
your memory would have been knowing that it didn't work, but you've instead reworked it in your mind. You've made the memory. Oh no, I freed her.
I think that's
Is that too rough?
kind of an unfair invalidating of what was at the time a really good dice roll that stopped the situation from escalating way out of our control instead of just regular out of our control.
And that switch between being enchanted until when suddenly not enchanted, and that kind of.
I certainly can go with that.
okay.
Okay. My one thing about the forgetting that he stabbed Lorelei in the eye is we've kind of established him telling that to Yvette.
Right. And that was something that I thought about when I was sort of like, ideas.
Well, I mean, we can all. I mean, I have no problems retconning that.
Right, biddly boop. But yeah, I'm fine with leaving that detail out and sticking with the sort of just at the end of his durance, he had this possession and he doesn't really remember it. Because also, like, what are the consequences of him forgetting that he stabbed Lorelei in the eye?
Yeah, I could kind of see where you're coming from with that. Jan, we haven't heard from you. What are you thinking?
I'm not having like great ideas about it. So it's like,
Okay.
I don't know.
How about, maybe even kind of to take it a little away from like full-on possession. How about the last hunt you were sent on was for another drow at the end of your durance?
Oh, interesting.
I like that.
Dirty, yeah.
After another drow, so we say for not he's working for another drow. He hunted a drow.
Yes.
He hunted a drow,
and that's how he got out of his durance. And he's just forgotten.
Oh, maybe
that.
yeah.
I like that.
That sound good?
Interesting.
And then that has potential consequences of people who might have lost that person. There is your former master who knows that's what he sent you on. There are threads out there to be pulled on still. But it's not overwhelming and terrible.
How does the rest of the table feel about that?
I think that's interesting.
I do too.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it takes away as much control from you.
Cool. And it also sets up some future fun stuff. So I like that.
Cool. All right, then. So that's your memory hole. And I think that, as Fallout, getting rid of Fallout has to do with dealing with it. So it would be either, this being brought back to your memory or something happening where this thread gets pulled on and you have to deal with the issue. Otherwise, it's just sort of sitting out there as a Fallout. Cool? Do we understand kind of what that is?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, then. Aramitz, you arrive at the Kraken Bell. You see a very large drow walking out with a probably much more dangerous looking woman drow following behind him. She has the look of someone who owns everything she sees. I own everything. And she doesn't even notice you, but the big guy is noticing everything around him. I don't know if you've seen the Duke before.
I don't, let's say that Aramis has not.
Then you see them leaving the Kraken Bell as you come in.
That's interesting.
Sorden, are you coming out from the back?
I mean, yes, and immediately going to the bar. Have the dog.
This was left for you, Sorden. And he hands you your orders, which is side by the Duke, where you are to. You are allowed to take what knights you need to go on this tax mission.
Oh, wonderful.
Eretz, you see Sorden maybe looking a little worse for wear, going up to the bar
In multiple ways.
Aramis, are you all right?
You're Eretz.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wow, where did that come from? Sorden. It's only been like 13 games. You'd think I know my own character's name. Sorry. Sorden.
What? Yeah.
Are you all right?
I just woke up. No,
good
no,
morning.
is it though?
Yes? Can be? Is there anything you need to talk about?
I need to have a drink.
Well, then you're in the right place.
Well, yes. I mean, I was. Yeah. I just woke up here. What a wake up. Hi, what are you doing here?
I believe we had set to meet at some point today. I thought it would be good if everyone checked in.
Right. Yeah, no, sorry, I forgot all about it with the Duke and
So you met that was the Duke.
that was the Duke.
Huh. I had not met the Duke before.
You're familiar with the Duke.
I'm aware of the reputation of the Duke, but I had not met the Duke, and I still haven't.
Good.
Why did the Duke come to see you?
Mission. I have a mission.
Congratulations. That's quite an honor.
Yes, it is.
Is this something I could help
She
you
was-
with? Do you need help?
I'm allowed to recruit from the knights.
Ah,
Tax collecting.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a gift for the Duchess. I don't know. Sorry. What? Yes. Hi. Yeah, my ale.
I'm sure that you will triumph, as you often do. And if not, we're here to help you.
That reminds me. I beat them. Like I had good memories. Sorry. Yes. Hi.
Orsa comes staggering towards the bar and looks at you, Aramis. Hello. And looks at the bartender. Hair the dog. Immediately, my mouth feels as though something has died within it.
It did. Would you like a drink, Aramis?
Yes, a fine aperitif, some kind of fruit wine, or perhaps just water.
So wine for my friend here.
Yes, wine, please.
Certainly. Never trust the water. And the bartender hands you a stein of wine.
Thank you.
Well, it's still from my celebratory. Right? Still counts as celebration, right?
They give a cheer. Aaron should probably notice the kind of piece of paper that Zordon has there on the table. You can see that it has a kind of official look to it, and if you glance down at it, you'll see that it requires and demands that Zordon enact the Duke's rightful taxation of the vessel, the River Spirit, which is arriving in 3 days to the docks, and gives him permission to take whichever forces he feels or deems necessary to do so. And it does address him as Admiral, and it is signed the Duke of the the North Docks.
Impressive.
What?
This writ.
Oh, quickly.
Admiral.
Put it in the way. Yeah, Knight Admiral. Yeah.
It's nice to see it written rather than merely hearing it from the lips of others. Quite nice.
Would you like to see her?
Yes.
Come on.
I will.
Take your drink. Take your drink.
All right. I will do that. I will follow along. This is intriguing.
Tell us what she looks like.
I mean, go around back, find a lovely rowboat that's I think seats up to 6. And you do notice that there's a bit of water already like gathering at the bottom of the boat. But there's a mean-looking swivel gun standing on the prow.
That is a mighty fine-looking gun.
Mm-hmm. That'll put some holes in the boat.
That will.
Or a person.
Whichever you choose, I'm sure.
It's a good show of force.
And what is the name that's written on the prow?
The name is the Bell Clapper.
Ha! What a fascinating name. I love it. This is great. Truly great.
That she well, she's mine. I am her captain, the Admiral. Yes, Knight Admiral. That is what I am.
Congratulations. I'm very happy for you, my friend.
Well, she's going to see some action soon. Now.
Ah, true. Obtaining this tax.
Yes, River Spirit. Do you know how to row?
I have never rowed a boat.
To be fair, a lot of people haven't. Even with the knights. That's okay. She'd like you can come, but it's been a morning.
Seems so.
Let's go back inside.
Yes.
I need to check on Tirza. I'm not sure she had a night as well.
You see, she is milking a pretty large stein of ale, but is getting back to herself.
I also like, hey, there's we've got a job. I mean,
Really?
I've got a job. You're my.
I am. Yes, I am, Sir Sword.
Yes. So, as
What?
my squire, you
Yes.
also have a job.
Yes. What job do we have?
Tax collecting.
Oh, that's. Is there anything? I'm sorry. My head is not exactly feeling like it normally does.
Hair of the dog.
Yes. Is there some problem with this tax collection?
Oh, just that it came from the Duke.
Oh, I see.
You were asleep.
Oh, I have so wished to meet her.
Yeah, well, maybe it's best that you didn't meet her now.
You were on good behavior, Sir Sword.
Sure, yes.
It shows that she has great trust in you if she has given you a mission.
Uh-huh. No, I think it's more to regain her trust, but yeah.
She'll exchange a look with you, Aramis.
I do the.
Why would she doubt you, Sir Sword?
Well, the whole Morns thing, I didn't quite pass it by her.
Oh, I see.
Uh-huh.
Then we must succeed, Sir Sword.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Yes. I think it might be it. And I think she might want a gift for the Duchess. It's a specific tax. She wants a specific tax.
What is it she seeks?
Repeating pistol of some sort. It's a human thing.
Oh. And you see her eyes kind of light up at that. Aramis, do you have academia? You do not. She says, that is a remarkable weapon technology.
Is it? Oh, right. You fought in the middle. Yes, you know what this is. What? Tell me. What is it?
It is a gun that will fire over and over and over again without reloading.
How?
The humans have developed chambers and cylinders which provide bullets in a repeating fashion.
I don't get it.
Bang, 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 bang.
Okay, yeah.
That sounds terrible.
Sounds illegal.
There are specific laws against this?
That would be considered a military weapon.
Well, then I think it would be good in the hands of the Duke.
Of course it would, yes.
Or the Dutch. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Yes, the Duchess. Yes, and the Duchess would be fine too.
She clearly has great anticipation of your success if this is the mission she has sent you on.
I mean, I'm probably fucked if I don't.
Yes, Sir Sword. Aramis, you seem honestly much more refreshed than the two of us.
I likely am.
I think you celebrate.
I did. I spent some time with a very important friend. It was restorative.
That is good to hear.
Wait.
Aramis.
Are you saying you got lucky?
I am not saying that.
Oh, you're
You
not
see a
saying that.
slight relief on Thars's face.
Interesting. The rest of the crew should be about soon, I would hope.
It is... Well, we slept late. Surely the two of them would have risen earlier. I want to know from the other two of you, what have you done with Blakely?
I mean, has Blakely shown any interest in going anywhere, doing anything particular?
She seems like she knows she needs to get her strength back and is trusting at this moment the two rescuers to find her a place to lay low. You know, she seems sort of this idea of she's been basically helpless without you. She has to trust you at the moment, and you seem to be favored by the masked god.
I mean, I'm certainly going back to my place for a nap, and if she would like to be my guest for a day, that's perfectly fine.
Can you trust Goloset too?
Yes. He'll do what I tell him to do.
Then I think she goes back with you. She is impressed with your things, but I think you also notice as you've gotten back in amongst people, she takes on this almost perfect, like, movement acting normal citizen. And you see people as they look at her, interact with her, she just like slides off their sight. She is perfectly normal for whatever anyone is looking for.
Just totally chameleonic. That's pretty
I
cool.
think you noticed Gerald, his kind of disguise is kind of thrown off his game because it's like, I don't know, he now feels like an amateur against I think where normally he feels like, you know, if he wants to be hidden, no one's going to find him, but now it's...
So we get her settled in, and you get a chance for a nap. Gerald, you can do a little whatever you want. She clearly wants to rest and will happily lay down and get herself together. So I think it's fair to say, Gerald, unless you have something particularly wanting to do, we can bring the group back together.
I think out of the kind of scene, he said, you know, Fanara, we meet up at the Kraken Bell, regroup with the others.
Yep, that sounds like the usual. Couple of hours.
I'll give you a moment, some time to rest. I should check on Vizar. And I go check on Vizar, make sure he's well.
As you
bring him a drink if he needs.
As you're moving up, you visit Vizar. Vizar is appreciative and you know, chats with you. And as you're leaving and going down the stairs, the stairway seems to turn black and shadowy, and you feel a presence behind you. Gerald, you have done me a great service.
I do what needs to be done for the drow.
You told my disciple that you are my follower. Were you lying, Gerald?
think so. There's still like he doesn't know himself, but
he sort of smiles, and right behind your ear, you just hear the whisper, "I would have been proud of you either way." And the presence is gone.
glance towards Bizarre's door, like they're asleep.
All right,
Head to
let's
Cracker Barrel.
bring everybody together, and it'll give us a chance to kind of chat as a group. But I don't want to get us stuck in, it's a nice opportunity to kind of assess where we are, think about stuff we still have to do. And we don't have to feel like right this moment we're under huge pressure. As I said before, we know out of game or out of character, we've got a little bit while they're regrouping. So kind of y'all think about what you're wanting to do. So let's bring everybody together at the Kraken Bell, and y'all chat a bit. And I'll be able to hear you, but I must blow my nose.
Armits, Zordon.
Gerald.
I didn't get
Let's.
a chance to.
Banana.
Zordon, I didn't get a chance to talk after your duel, but
I was getting
That
applauded
was a
and
sight to
applauded.
behold.
Thank you.
You
It is
should-
what I
You should see his craft. You should show them. It's quite impressive.
By the way, out of character, is it like something that docked outside the Kraken Bell?
Yeah.
Is Kraken Bell right
It is.
against the?
Yeah.
It is.
That's right, your very own boat.
Yes.
I kind of like look back and forth out the window, like
She's called the bell clapper.
What a clever name, don't you think?
Did you
Bravo.
name it yourself?
Applause. To you or whoever else did.
She's mine. That is what came with my title of Knight Admiral.
Dang. Moving
When
on.
did that happen?
Did you know?
When did you become Admiral?
I don't know, like a week ago.
Oh. Well,
It was sort of a like, my helping throughout my helping the investigations of the everything that's been going on. Got to the Duke, and she promoted me, and now she wants me to use my promotion to do some stuff.
Sounds reasonable.
Hermits. Eyebrow raise.
Yeah, there's a little head waggle of this stuff is not great.
Well,
How about we get you a drink, Zordon, to celebrate, and you
Oh,
tell
I've
us about
celebrated,
it.
but let's celebrate some more. I agree. Yes.
I'll get started with the cider, I guess.
Drinks are brought all around.
Is Thursday okay?
Thursday is not used to celebrating just like this just yet, but we'll get there, right?
It was a lot of celebration, but I am feeling much better, Gerald. Thank you.
Hair of the dog.
Hair of the dog. And she toasts and takes a swig.
Speaking of which, Vizar is. He sends his.
Also celebrated.
best.
Oh, good.
Is he
He
doing
seemed-
better?
He'll be better.
Good. Let me know if anything seems awry.
Thank you. The drinks. Excellent. To Zordon.
Yes. Ha.
And what is it that's...
Well, what do you mean? What is it? What? Oh yes, my.
Why is Aramis so worried?
Oh well, it's so Thursday just explained to us what a repeating pistol is.
Is that what it sounds like?
A pistol that repeats? Yes.
Yeah, it repeats itself with bangs. It repeats itself with bangs.
You not got one of those, have you?
Not yet. And once I do, I need to give it to the Duke, which I think the Duke will give to the Duchess. The Duchess is the current Duchess is human, so I think it might be a gift.
Well,
I'm pretty sure it's not to give to any of her husbands.
A drow is going to be taking possession of a repeating pistol, and then it's going to disappear off to some human.
Yeah, pretty much. You're not familiar with.
Not just some
Another drink.
It's taxation, and it's the Duchess, mind you. Like, don't. Like,
She is both lovely and brilliant.
yeah, don't badmouth the Duchess. In there's definitely not in the Northern Docks.
Sure, he's a fine fellow, but you get the danger to the drow community of a repeating pistol disappearing into the community. If there's any word of that gets...
I'm sure it will be used in the defense of the castle.
You know, Sir Sordon, considering the brilliance of the Duchess, I imagine she could replicate that technology herself, if she had it.
There we go. See, it will be good for the knights.
I looked for Nara and...
I know that I receive on very official looking stationery notices that transporting weapons of war is highly illegal.
Mm-hmm. That's why it needs to be taxed.
Sordon, have you ever watched over children in any capacity?
Not if I can help it.
If you do, you'll need to look out for a certain phenomena where you will explain to a child that they mustn't steal cookies. And then they'll solemnly swear that they understand that they should not steal cookies. And then later, you'll find them with their hands in the cookie jar. You'll say, "You said you weren't going to steal cookies anymore. What are you doing?" And they will say, "I am getting cookies. It is different from stealing."
And then to be clear, the LP will
stealing.
then send heavies and smash skulls and take those cookies back.
No, I'm pretty sure the Duke knows what she's doing.
I feel the ministry should know about this. This is...
No, we have a couple of options. One, we do the job straightforwardly and expertly and deliver this weapon.
Oh, awesome. You would like to join? Because I do need some more people rowing. And I
Oh,
haven't actually talked to the other knights yet.
Sorden, if you make me row, we're going to be in a row. Do you understand?
I think so.
Good.
So you don't want to be on the boat then?
Thorsa definitely laughs at your wordplay.
Because
We'll put a pin in that and say that I'm undecided.
wait,
I'm not rowing.
do you know how to operate a swivel gun?
Well, I mean, if a military man can do it, how hard can it be?
There's a lot of powder involved, and
I've operated a powder weapon before. It's really fine. Anyways, option 1, do the job, get it done right. Elfir don't know about it. Duchess gets a shiny new thing. Perhaps fabricates more of shiny new thing, equips chosen among her knights to have it. Is probably a bit of a illegality power struggle problem with the Elfir network.
And the Duke.
And the Duke. So this will create further conflict, frankly. But it could empower the Drow community. Having better weapons means it's easier for Drow to kill Elfir. Simple. Option number 2. We do the job, but we sabotage the repeating pistol in some fashion that makes duplicating it folly. You have completed the letter of your job. We have to make sure that the sabotage is not easily detectable.
I don't know how to do that.
Neither do I. I would have to find an expert to do so. They would also have to do this very quickly, so that would be expensive, but doable. I need to not think about that because we're thinking about this now. But possibilities exist. Option number 3. We do the job. We copy the design, once again, using an expert that I will find for us. And then we have it as well as the Duchess to do something with later at our leisure.
That would be easier to hide.
Correct. We simply create a few diagrams and then perhaps just sit on them until a useful time occurs. Perhaps start commissioning something, but the circles of people who could fabricate this or begin to fabricate it, it's not infinitesimally small, but it's small. Word would get around among them that this was happening. So we'd have to find somebody who was either washed up and out of the community and rehabilitate them into usefulness, or we would have to apprentice someone entirely or pay quite a bit for loyalty that, quite frankly, we probably won't get. So interesting possibilities all around. What do we think?
I had not considered any of those options. I was just going to do my job.
Thorsa sort of nods at you as you say that.
Notice that none of my presentations involve you not doing the job at all. I don't want you to be murdered by the Duke. Just seems bad.
Don't like option 2.
Wait,
option 2 was...
Option 2 was that we deliver a gun that does not actually work.
Faulty. I'm not a fan.
Zordon is well placed. Let's not jeopardize that.
Mm-hmm.
We take the plans for ourselves. The Duke, the Duchess, how much damage with one pistol can they really do? It must be very clear that they have it. It can't be assumed that Drow community have taken it.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot have that fallback on us. That will cause raids, deaths, trials.
Possibly.
You're making me consider all sorts of things that I hadn't thought about yet.
But having those plans, even if we don't use them today, next year, years from now,
Mm-hmm.
they could decide who controls the Spire in the end.
Very much.
Well,
And somebody already has those designs. Somebody's already made this.
I mean, probably outside of the Spire, though.
yes, who did you say you were going to tax specifically? I'm not sure I caught that.
Oh, it's the River Spirits.
You've heard of this, Venara. This is one of the larger trading ships that come from the human, one of the human enclaves. You know, they tend to build underground, work with ancient tech. It is an impressive trading vessel, ironclad, steam driven.
And I'll narrate this out.
It will be bringing quite a few interesting things to be sold.
So, and I'm like, I look out the window into, the dock where different boats are tied off. Which of these did you say was yours, Sorden?
That one, it obviously says like big letters on the side. Well, okay, yeah, it's sunk a bit underneath the. Look, it's that one over there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so your XDX foot ship up against the XDXDX foot ship.
I have a gun.
Yes, and if more than one person on deck has a gun, then what?
But this is a bigger gun.
Good.
I think I would like to see. It seems, Gerald, as they're discussing kind of this, and maybe you move a bit to the side to speak with the Aramids. And I don't want to get us too deep in weeds on our talk about the boat. That's a bit of ways, sort of thing. The two of y'all have a moment.
Gerald?
I was just thinking this night that me and Rizar, definitely me, owe you a thanks. I feel you gave me the push to.
Of course.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I hope the little push that we gave you was appreciated and not.
Yes, it was. Thank you. I'm glad that we look out for each other.
And stop me if you prefer privacy on this. I understand that. But if you do wish to share, take a drink and just look over the top of it.
Thank you very much, my friend. It is very much appreciated what you and Vizar have done to open my eyes.
I think your eyes were looking that way anyway. It was just a nudge of action, a call to arms.
Indeed.
Sorry,
It's all right. Hope you're okay.
thought I was muted.
It's okay, man. I hope you're okay. Yeah, you get the like, Aramitz is doing doublespeak of, I am not going to tell you what has happened. Thank you so much. This is a very pleasant conversation. I am not going to tell you what has happened.
Gentleman doesn't kiss and tell.
That is exactly what's going on.
So we have, a little discussion. This is an impressive boat. You're going to go tax it. Legitimately, they're planning to land here on the docks. You have every right to tax it. That sort of conversation going on. We come back. The two of you have had your little aside. Aramitz, I think you had wanted, or at least mentioned, maybe it's time to inform the ministry of what all went on and how things are going.
Yes, friends, I think it might behoove us to speak with the ministry about the events of last night, and we also could share with our contact this taxation.
Very well.
We do think that is wise. Yes, don't please hold me.
I'm guessing that's a yes. You can make a quick run to leave a drop there. And
do we have like a little urchin that we hand notes off to do drops? Or something?
There are runners from the Kraken Bell that are easily bribed for a cent to do these sort of things. So, it's easy to. I have a crew of mine that I play at home with who talk about an urchin-based economy. I know there are others who think it's terrible to talk about this, but we have a whole thing of urchin-based economies. But yeah, it's absolutely easily, here, would you mind doing this? They're happy to take the funding. And you leave that, you will receive back, because I'm going to try, and we're running on time here, so I want to kind of, you will receive back that Macareth wants to speak with you. I want to ask Sorden, have you told them that you sent the paladin to look into the dragon?
Yes, yeah, I'll tell them that.
All right. Any reactions as y'all hear that?
Just good.
Couldn't happen to a nicer warehouse.
All right. Information y'all gained on this last mission is that apparently Josiah was willing to have her husband killed to get his heart. Any discussion on that?
That is gross.
That is terribly cold.
Mm-hmm.
And understanding, of course, that the atrocities previously knowingly conducted by this person, this simply speaks to an additional level of willingness to do whatever it might take, I think.
It's the elf fear. It's what the elf fear do.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing surprises me about them now.
We are aware that it seems like they're awfully close, if nothing's disrupted. If they can get that Elfir heart, she's close to having what she needs for the ritual. We have taken out her primary means of gaining these. So she's going to have to find a way to get it elsewhere.
And she's an accomplished mage, sorceress, etc. So this isn't starkly beyond her. I think that at most she would spend a day or two, perhaps a week, recollecting herself and making sure that her position remains secure, and then would start implementing a new plan of some sort. So we need to make sure that more things go wrong for her.
And several of you, maybe it comes to your minds of, for the first time, your names are directly implicated in what's going on, because everyone will now be aware. Well, not you, Gerald, but certainly Aramitz and Finara and Vazar are the people who stopped the serial killer. I mean, I know Vazar is going to be putting out a story about it. I mean, it's going to be all over the press.
Just this cracking blockbuster article selling like hotcakes. It's got everything.
It
Blood,
has everything.
theater, fabulous wealth, dangerous magic. Come on.
Story's going to get out anyway, so. Us
Correct.
controlling the telling.
Well, it's not just a matter of us controlling the telling. It's that once this gets out, and understand that it is already out to a certain uncomfortable degree, because Mords of the Paladins knows, therefore the Paladins know, therefore the Paladins, who they serve, they know, etc., etc. So it's still too public, but not absolutely public.
You forget a Chamberlain knows. So the servants know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very well. Good thinking. So some of our movements might be restricted, or we might require expert disguises to continue forward, or proxies, or both.
So I want to ask, is there something, we have time, is there something y'all want to say, this is what we're going to focus on, or go look for individually as a group? Are we going to take a couple of days just to like decompress? Because I'm gonna hit some just quick scenes out of our meeting here after this.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a focus we come out of this meeting? This is something we want to do. Rich, is there something that Aramitz proposes? This is something we need to do.
So just so I'm clear, we have or we have not spoken to our minister?
Why don't we go ahead and speak with her?
Okay, sorry, that's what I would propose if that's not something we've
Let's go
established
ahead and have that meeting, because I think we can get some clarity from Makareth having that meeting done. So you receive back that you're to meet with her. It is not a surprise that you begin walking down an alleyway, and as you do, behind you, you can hear kind of the scuttering of little feet, and you see a web begin to form up in the alleyway behind you. And out from that silk steps Makareth. It is very good to see all of you again.
I hope our standing with the ministry is
much improved. You have brought to heel the murderer of one of our own. His cells are very pleased. It is unfortunate, Aramitz and Fanara, your names are rather known.
Couldn't be helped.
Fine. Never mind, sorry.
Sorton, you made quite the spectacle of yourself, but in quite a different way that did not interfere in this particular issue. There was some discussion of whether you had been overly compromised, Aramitz and Fanara. I convinced them that no, you were simply do-gooders, finding yourself with a friend in the press. Bazaar has always been a bit of a comet across the sky. It is not yet a light that is shining on our work. But be careful.
Of course.
If a problem arises, we will deal with it.
I'm sure you will, Gerald. No one wants to see any of you burned.
That will not happen.
I have faith in you, Gerald. That's why I've stood up for all of you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I have also been led to believe, Zord, that you have asked the paladins to look into the issue of Drek.
Well, yes.
That was a wise choice.
Thank you.
I was highly impressed that you have worked your way into the paladins. It was quite the feather in your cap.
Yeah, I worked my way into them.
Few of our assets ever have the solar pantheon with which to work with. That is useful.
And he's not like don't. And if you're thinking about recruiting him, I don't think he's a fan.
I am not thinking of recruiting him.
Okay, just saying, he's not. Like, if he would find out that I'm, then no, not good.
If he were to find out that you were, you would not be.
Right, exactly.
I pat Sorton on the back surreptitiously.
From here, what are your goals? I have to think that despite the Paladin's efforts, this will not be a simple swiping away of the issue.
We're all fairly confident that the one behind all of this will roll with the punches of this setback and attempt to regain the outcomes of her planning.
So you have discovered the spider in the web.
Mm-hmm. And I'll name her openly, even though I don't remember her name.
She'll kind of... Do y'all give the full bit of all of your information here at this meeting?
Just a vibe check. I'm into it.
I'm into it. Like
Yeah,
that would be
I think-
Aramitz's intention if
She will... Yeah, Gerald, sorry.
No, I was just agreeing.
Like, Sortin would definitely, like, Sortin is not one to hide words and like.
She's sort of overwhelmed as you give out all the information.
We've had to hold back quite a bit in the fears that you yourself may have been compromised, but
And
as things have unfolded, our confidence has returned that you wouldn't be in a weakened position to know.
And I think you can understand now how a slight compromise to our team has been worth this information. We haven't made foolish risks.
I am extremely proud of all of you. This is remarkable. I will go back to the ministry and inform them of this. And you have my permission to investigate as best you can. She must be stopped. Do not put yourself in a position where you are discovered. But there is nothing that is more important than stopping an incursion. I will provide every bit of support I can.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Gerald, or Aramis, Shannara, I will give a warning again. Your names are becoming known. If this mastermind knows you are involved, even if it has nothing to do with the ministry, she will be looking for you. She will wish to hurt you. Guard those you care about.
Well, I can simply go on a business trip, but Aramis,
Yes.
you are rather rooted.
I am. And there are many that I care about. Many.
Then the sooner she is handled, the sooner the danger is past. Come to me with anything that I can help you with. And I absolutely support the schematics for this repeating weapon. It is an addition to our arsenal that could change everything.
And you don't mind the Duke and the Duchess having it, right?
If I have to fear the people who still have pride in their drowness, then there is no point in the work we're doing at all. We will need those who are leaders of Drow when we plan the fight. The Duke is certainly one of the greatest fighters our people has.
Right. Good.
Very well then. Please inform me if I can help. And she steps forward, and as she does, she gets closer to you, but it has this weird effect of her getting like less distinct. And it's kind of like a spider web bursting as she steps forward, and it just trails away as her image disappears.
Oh, no.
She keeps getting better at it.
Oof. Uh-huh. I didn't think that.
So envious.
Oh, well.
Oh, all right. I'm better now.
So we've had we've spoken then with the ministry. We have the ministry, and they are all, y'all have done a fantastic job so far. So they're very pleased with this. So that brings us back to Aramis. What are you thinking is
Okay. Okay.
What are you thinking is the thrust, something that you think we need to be doing?
that warning, of course, is going to set off alarm bells for Aramitz, and I think he is considering ways to get his people, his flock, the folks that he ministers to watch out for each other more, to be alarmed, to be aware. So,
Excellent.
yeah, I think that's what he's after.
Okay. Gerald, coming out of this, a thrust you think y'all should be doing?
Gerald is definitely going to be making what's the term? The bag of things to bolt with. But I mean, as in for the team.
A bug out bag?
A bug out bag.
Yeah. I think for the team. New identities. Meetup locate,
Smart. Fanara, thrust you think for the team?
For the team?
Or for you, things you think need to be pushed on right now?
I definitely think that I need to arrange to very publicly go on a big business trip.
Very
straight
nice.
up. And get my name on some boat manifests. Have some folks see me on a boat leaving, and then probably have Sorden pluck me out of the water an hour or two later.
Perfect. Sorden, thrust you're thinking going forward.
Sorden is very much focused on completing the mission for Duke.
Gotcha.
In the sense, and now it's like, okay, and other people can figure out how to make copies of that schematic, because that's I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna do my job. And
excellent. All right, then I'm going to give a piece or two of information, and then we're going to come to a close. First off, in the next day, you find out from the Paladins. They raided those two direct warehouses. They are successful, though Morns will tell you he thinks it was a tip-off, because all they find there are drow running the operation. They encounter no gnolls. It is only the drow that are pretty much heavily addicted to Drek doing the day-to-day that are raided. But they're both shut down.
That's good.
Second piece of information. Fanara, you get a visit from, let me pull up real quick. Did we put his name in? I think we did. Yes. Did we? The sons of Anastasia. Our drug lord. If you remember, Anastasia
I do.
Yes. Had sent her two sons, Peter and Yosef. Peter and Yosef will drop by kind of quietly to tell you, Fanara, Mother wanted to inform you that there is some interest amongst on high about you, and to inform you that there may be a bit of a price on your head.
Hopefully it's too meager for the likes of you.
It is more than we expected, honestly. And Mother has insisted that our entire organization says no. But
I
Mother
appreciate it.
is not the only power in the Spire. She appreciates what you've done so far. Take care of yourself.
I'm about to go on a lovely business trip, exploring new venture opportunities.
I will tell Mother she will be glad to see that you're taking a bit of vacay.
A place with a lot of moonlight, crystalline shores, peaceful water.
And he smiles and they leave. I think that's where we're coming to a wrap. How about we take, Rich, if you'll pause us a moment. All right, we're back. So this was very housekeeping session, but I wanted us to deal with fallout, both personal and kind of the fallout of big event in the kind of campaign, the overarch we were doing. I'm pleased with what we've got going with Sorden. I like what's happening there. I think it's neat. I definitely wanted to have Cheryl and the masked god and the Lady of the Ice there started into play. I'm pleased that got going. I was touched by Aramit's A with Yvette, B kind of interacting with other people. Good scene with Sword, good scene with Gerald. Those sort of things. But it was very housekeeping, which brings me to a point. Despite it being housekeeping, because of Zordan's actions, the Paladins have gone in and made the Drek way less of a problem. Do we feel like that's worthy of the lesser advance that handling Drek will be in this instance? Or because our big greater advance is going to come from handling Joshua.
I mean, the advances, are they specifically just for work for the Drow community, or is it like for our own goals?
It is for making a change that betters the Drow community, that makes life better for the Spire.
Right.
We also kind of stopped. I mean, I feel that this isn't upgrading it to a medium, but kind of solidifying us getting a lesser one. We kind of stopped infighting in the ministry, at least us being infighted.
The main thing is, because I think you've earned it, the question is, does it feel satisfying that we've handled the Drek in a less go in, fight, beat up people way? But you've handled it.
It does to me, but for a couple things, like story-wise, we fulfilled and we did the thing. Mechanically, while we just did a medium and there's a little like back-to-back, it also, like, there was a good stretch where no advances happened. So I think from a mechanical perspective, I'm okay with it there too.
And also, I think the whole thing of only the Drow being found, that was a good hard beat, because it kind of added a horrible sting to that success, which I appreciated.
Because what we have now is, again, because I said they're having to regroup the same as y'all are regrouping. She's pulling in her assets to get the last push done. The Drek is no longer as important to her. She doesn't need the money. She's trying to get done so she can do the ritual. So do we feel okay then that, I mean, we're getting that shit off the street. We really, we basically have done it.
That does help people. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm feeling okay with it.
It's one of those things where I'm going like, do we cash in the lowest funds now, or do we like wait for the highest funds?
Then I think I'm going to give the low. Drek is going to start drying up on the streets. They're going to work through supply. There's going to be issues of withdrawal. We're going to see problems from the fact that this manufacture is ending. But because of the Paladins' interest, busting up 2 of their warehouses, it is not being produced anymore. So you will get a low advance for that. I think I've thrown on the table that 2 of you have been sort of, you're not made as part of the ministry, but you're made as people who are interfering in Joshua's plans.
Yep.
And your minister was correct.
And I
Look
definitely
out
would
for
tell.
those you love.
Yeah, I would definitely tell Aramitz, hey, there's a huge bounty on me. Probably one on you too.
Wow. Oh, my friend, please take care of yourself.
It might also be a thing of like sorting, going like, yeah, this wanted poster showed up in the Northern Docks. So like, I know it's not a very good resemblance, but I think it's you.
So let's do a little stars and wishes, and I'm going to be a little unusual in that I'm going to hit a couple of stars that I really liked first.
Go for it.
Gerald, Alex, I loved your reaction when McCareth said burning people, because I think you recognized what that meant really well. I think all of your dealings with her, very nicely done. And Rich, I really appreciated the kind of tenderness and leaning into what we're doing with Yvette. You know, me and doing romance is not great, but just not my strong point. But I think there's a sweet relationship there, and I'm all for it.
I think you're doing great. I know you have concerns, but I think you're doing great.
So, and you know, yeah, you're just fucking awesome. God, that was so good. Just so good with the view. That was so good. So, stars, why don't we head down the row from you? Jan, tell us some stars.
I loved basically all the scenes. I really enjoyed Joel's scenes with the with his God and the target, and it was yeah, it was cool. I enjoyed Aramitz a lot as well. Just Aramitz being Aramitz is just, I don't know. It's a thing, and also the budding romance was just like I was like, oh. Like when there was the kiss, I was like, oh. And yeah, Fenari is just always a force of nature, or well, not nature, because Fenari is just a force of Fenari. And again, like as and I've said in previous episodes, like really good MC work by you, Tyler. You did really well.
Thank you very, very much. Next down our row, I believe is that you, Alex? I believe it is.
Yeah. A little moment. Try to get ones that other people might miss or might not think of. And one I have to say, that's a big one. Fenara, there was a little moment when the implication of you rowing a boat. I loved your reaction.
Yes!
You had this kind of
That's so good.
I don't know, not aristocrats.
Indignant.
Yeah, this indignant, this like high class indignant of being, suggested that you do this thing, which
Do I want to row the boat?
yeah, which I don't know if it was just pure indignance at that idea, or I don't want to row a boat, so I'm going to bring forth this kind of persona. Either way, it worked very well with Banara. The one big one I will take, which was I absolutely loved meeting the Duke was that the first time we've met the Duke? Yeah, meeting the Duke for the first time, and that whole scene from both sides of that scene were fantastic. The disappointed parents was, and the disappointing child were done fantastically. I enjoyed having a little moment with Aramitz, and even though he didn't kind of give away any information, I felt a lot implied in his yeah, I'm not going to tell you. Though he wasn't so rude to say, I'm not going to tell you, but
Good.
He would never be that rude. I won't take any more. I have more, but I won't.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alex. Next up, Rich.
A lot of duplicates, but just Finara. The way Finara's immediate reaction is problem solution. It's just fascinating. You operate on a level with Finara that just is. I mean, you usually play hyper competent characters because you are hyper competent. So, but there's just something about Finara's panache that is delightful. I often feel like it's Finara's show. We're just supporting characters, and I mean that as a compliment. That's not you're not grandstanding. It's just every moment you just draw folks in to your orbit. That's great. I also like Finara's first answer is often, and it will cost this much. That's just so good. It's so Azurite. It's just on point. Again, duplicates, but Zordan's Jan, you really, to me, you portrayed a person coming out of a drunken fugue, but not being completely out of that fugue, while realizing I absolutely have to be sharp and on point here. That was I kept bouncing between feeling bad for Zordan and delighted and laughing at Zordan, and it was so cool. You played that whole scene, and it never wavered. It was really impressive. So great role play there, which of course leads me to the Duke was freaking amazing. The whole setup of oh man, I'm so glad I am not the kid getting yelled at in this room.
But your mom.
That was so good. That was just completely unexpected scene, Tyler. Brilliant. I loved it, not just because it was such a good introduction of a character, but tonally such an interesting flip from some of the really kind of dark, macabre stuff that we've done. But it wasn't silly, but there was this light tone to it that was a great refreshment for me as a viewer. So I really like that. And Alex, you already, again, all duplicates, but I really enjoyed this scene between Gerald and Aramitz. I love how Gerald, he gets the ministry so hard, and he also cares about the members of our little coterie here, and that's just lovely. I especially like Gerald said thanks. That was a neat check-in without a check-in, like a left-hand way to say oh, things are going well here. So that was super good. There were a lot of really good moments. Maybe it was a housekeeping episode. I don't know. It felt like a lot had happened, and it's not all done, but it definitely felt to me like the end of a volume of a comic where you've got an issue to like decompress just a little bit, a little denouement, but also like teasing out what's next, what are the repercussions of it. And I really like that in longer stories and campaigns. You've got to have that. And this was an enjoyable scene. It wasn't just a session. It wasn't just like, okay, let's flip the bits, there was a lot of in character resolving things rather than us sitting back from the table and trying to, we have to. It felt so character motivated that I really enjoyed it and stayed engaged.
Awesome. Thank you. Good. I'm glad that it came across that way. I appreciate that. So let's move on then to you, Jen, my dearest heart. Stars.
Stars. Well, first of all, we did some good housekeeping this session. I think that it's really important to do that and, get those reaction shots and see the fallout and connect point A to point B. Or at least point from A to B and then from B to C. In role playing, there can be a lot of, we just got to get to the next thing where there's action. And sometimes that pointing gets left out and it can get a little cognitively dissonant and break people out of character. So I liked that we did that work and that doing that work was entertaining and enriching. That was super good. Stars. I really enjoyed Gerald's spiritual anxiety. And how he performed that in completing his task with the masked god. I find it funny that yet again it's like that character growth, character setback cycle where Gerald's got a crush on Vizar and he doesn't talk about it, and then eventually he does, and things kind of improve a little bit, and like now he's got this problem with this masked god and he's not really talking about it. Now he's sort of opening up a little bit and maybe seeing new things about it, but maybe still kind of not engaging with the topic. So that's interesting, and I'm very curious to see how that situation develops with the character. Sorden, the hangover babble was excellent, and it was both delightful and kind of painful to watch. Where it's just like, oh, Sorden, hang in there. So thank you for providing that stellar performance. Super great. I love your absolute willingness to just play Sorden to the hilt and let the piss takes happen, frankly. But sometimes Sorden's very right about stuff and we rely on him, and it's quite good. So very pleased with that. I'm looking forward to whatever we do on the boat. Clearly there's like a cut panel scene with Sorden picking Finara up out of the river and being like, you're impressed by my boat now, aren't you? Right? Just having that sort of deal. What other stars have I got? Just seeing things logically develop this session from what we did last session feels very good, feels very grounding, very important for a game of this nature. I liked that Aramitz just spilled his guts to Yvette and created that drama. It's certainly going to lead to tension. And poor Golison.
I forgot that bit, but that was really good. That was a good little out of nowhere moment.
It was a good bit.
Yeah, the addition of
He's serious about his job.
going off to get clothes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. And I'm going to break protocol again by doing my wishes first. Jen, I think I'm giving like emotion hooks to everyone else. I want to make sure that I have something out there for you to latch onto beyond just the cell.
Mhm.
I don't know quite yet what it is. I want us to work on finding what it is, but I want you to also have a cool existence that isn't just the job. And so I'm going to work harder on trying to make sure you have as rich an opportunity as possible.
Okay.
So that's my really big wish, is to make sure. I feel like I'm throwing breadcrumbs at other people, and I need to make sure that you are getting as solid an experience as possible as well.
Sure. Thank you.
And I'm really looking forward to all of our little things that are going on. So there's my other wish. Coming back then, Jen, you get to start. What wishes do you have?
Oh man. I want to see the Duke again. There we go. Dunked. Nailed it. Any other wishes? Nah, not really. I think I nailed it in one.
Awesome, cool. I liked her because she's the first person I've actually gotten to yell at somebody. I'm always so scared of yelling at players, but she's a yeller. I like her. Next up is you, Rich.
I'll take the easy one. We miss Speed of Bizarre. It's always the low hanging fruit. That's of course an easy wish, because I would have liked to have seen how Bizarre was doing things, and we could definitely catch up next week. So I'm not worried about us losing out on it, but I would have liked to have seen it this session too. So yeah, I wish that other game didn't happen, but I understand it. It's okay. I mean, it's been around longer than this game. I wish Beaker hadn't realized that there's some kind of danger to bark at. That's it. This was a really good session. That's my only cheap shot wish.
Cool. I'll say it. Thankfully, Bizarre was having to recuperate. So if you're gonna miss one, this was a good one. Alex, my dear.
Yeah. I definitely didn't want it in this session, but next session I want some of those nasty dice rolls that we had previous session that get us some more fallout, because I want some. And because I missed the session previous to the previous session, I still have my wish of, I want to meet who refracts endlessly outward again. The my
Yes.
thingy. I want some interaction, or even somebody else. Yeah, I want them somewhere.
I can promise you that is very much in our Blakely story. So, Don, wishes?
My biggest wish is that I'd been there for the last session, or at least had the time to watch the last session, because I didn't. And now, like for instance, when the question came up for like Armat's memory loss, I was just like, I am not well informed enough to have any opinion on this. I'm just gonna pass. So I wish I had some time to inform myself better.
It's completely understandable. But I liked the fallout we came out with. I think that's going to be interesting. Nice threads to pull from it. And I hope we all enjoyed this one. Again, it was kind of housekeeping, but it felt like it had its moments. It felt like it had some really cool stuff. We introed some neat things and we have new tensions. So lovely. And I can't wait till next week. Rich, back to you.
Tyler, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for playing. Can't wait to kick this in gear with a full crew next week. Will we ride the boat? Will Fanar have to work the oars? Who knows? Let's find out in a week. See you guys.